Imagine a small African village called Ndlovu, resting between two green hills where the red earth met the clear blue sky. The kind of place where everybody knew everybody and secrets never stayed buried for long. In this village lived a young girl named Amale. She was about 19, thin, not from choice, but from life. Her eyes were big and bright, the kind of eyes that had seen too much pain but still refused to die. She had lost both parents when she was only 10. First, her father to illness, then her mother to heartbreak a year later. Since then, she had lived with her uncle, Jabulani, and his wife, Aunt Thandi. But let's be honest, they didn't take her in because of love. They took her in because they wanted free labor. Every morning, before the first rooster crowed, Amhale was up, fetching water from the river, sweeping the compound, cooking, washing clothes, and making sure everyone else was comfortable except herself. If she ever dared to sit down for too long, and Sandy's voice would cut through the air like a whip. "ORPHAN, so you have time to rest, eh? Did you finish washing? Did you finish the yard? Or are you just here to eat food that is not yours?" Amale would lower her eyes and answer softly, "I'm going now, auntie." She had learned to swallow her anger, her sadness, and her dreams. But she did have dreams. Sometimes late at night, when everyone was asleep, she would sit outside and look at the stars. In that silence, she would whisper things no one else ever heard. "One day, I will leave this place. I will travel in big cars, big planes. I will not suffer forever. God, please, don't forget me." The village didn't see her dreams. They only saw the poor orphan girl. And in that same village, on the dusty roadside, sat a man everyone called Becky the beggar. He was in his early 30s with rough hands, dusty clothes, and sandals that had seen better days. Every market day, he sat near the busy path with a small calabash bowl in front of him, his head bowed, asking people for coins or food. Children mocked him. "Look, it's Becky the beggar. Maybe he will beg for our leftover bones again." Adults pitied him, but from a safe distance. No one knew where he came from. No father, no mother, no relatives. Just a man who appeared in Ndlovu one day and never left. Most people didn't even call him by his name, just that beggar. Now listen carefully. In that same village lived a powerful and respected man, Chief Imhize. He was wealthy, with several wives, many children, cattle that dotted the hills like scattered stones, and fields that stretched almost to the river. People bowed when he passed. Uncle Jabulani admired the chief, not because the chief was wise, but because the chief was rich, and rich men made poor men feel small. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the village in gold, the chief sent a message. His messenger, dressed in bright beads and carrying a long staff, stepped into Uncle Jabulani's compound. "Uncle Jabulani," the messenger announced, "the chief calls for a girl from your house." Jabulani and Thandi's heart jumped. A girl from their house? Maybe he wanted the wife for one of his sons. Maybe he wanted the housemaid in his palace. Either way, they smelled opportunity. Jabulani agreed. "Tell the chief we will come tomorrow morning with our best girl." He turned to his wife. "This is our chance, Thandi. If one of our daughters enters the chief's home, we will eat well until we die." But Thandi was already faster than him. "We will not give our daughters," she said softly, eyes sharp. "We will give him the offer." Jabulani frowned. "Why? Are you stupid?" She eased. "If it takes our daughter and later something goes wrong, people will laugh at us. But if it is the orphan, we lose nothing. And if things go well, we will still benefit. We will say she's our child. We are the wise guardians." They both laughed. Inside the small mudroom, Ale was listening, her heart beating fast. She didn't understand everything, but she understood enough. They were planning her future again without her. That night, he barely slept. The next morning, they dressed her in a faded but clean dress, braided her hair quickly and marched her to the chief's compound. The chief sat on a wooden chair, a leopard skin thrown over it, gold bracelets on his wrists. He looked at Ale from head to toe. "Is this your daughter?" he asked. Jabulani coughed. "Yes, chief. She's like our daughter. Her parents died, so we took care of her." Amhale's stomach twisted at that lie. Chief Nkize nodded slowly. She's humble, quiet, good. Then he dropped the bomb. 7 days from now, he said, she will be married. And Stanley's eyes lit up. To whom? Great chief, she asked, already dreaming of cows and gifts. Chief Nkize lifted his hand and pointed. Past the crowd, past the villagers to the roadside. Everyone turned. There, sitting on the ground with his calabash bowl, was Becky the beggar. She will marry him, the chief said. The earth went silent. Then the whisper started. What? The orphan will marry the beggar? Is this a joke? They are perfectly matched, both useless. Someone laughed cruelly. Amale's heart dropped into her stomach. Even Becky looked confused, his eyes widening as he slowly stood, dust sticking to his clothes. Uncle Jabulani was the first to speak. Chief, maybe there is a mistake. Our girl married that man? Chief Nkize's face hardened. Are you questioning my decision? He shut Jabulani's mouth immediately. No one argued with Chief Nkize, not if they liked their peace. The chief's voice echoed across the compound. In 7 days, there will be a wedding. Let everyone prepare. I have spoken. And just like that, fate was sealed. The poor orphan and the village beggar. Everyone thought it was a curse. No one knew it was the beginning of a story they would never forget. What spread through Ndlovu faster than fire through dry grass? Did you hear? The orphan is marrying the beggar. Even the gods must be laughing. Women at the river shook their heads. If she was a real daughter in that house, they would never allow it. One said, they are giving her away like rubbish. Another added. Back at home, Uncle Jabulani was fuming. This is humiliation, he spat. How can my house be tied to that beggar? And Sandy clicked her tongue. At least she's living. One less mouth to feed. Let her go and suffer with her kind. Inside her small room, Amahale cried quietly. Not loud, not dramatic. Just silent, slow tears soaking her pillow. She wasn't crying because she thought she was too good for Becky. She was crying because once again, her life was being chosen for her. One evening, as she sat outside staring at the sunset, a shadow fell over her. She looked up. It was Becky. Up close, he looked different from what people always said. Yes, his clothes were worn. Yes, he looked tired, but there was something sharp in his eyes. Intelligent, awake. He cleared his throat awkwardly. Amahale, he said quietly. She wiped her face quickly. Yes? I did not ask for this, he said. I woke up begging like every other day, and by afternoon I was told I would be a husband. She almost smiled at the way he said it. I didn't ask for it either, she replied. He sat on a stone near her, leaving a respectful distance. If you hate me, he said, I understand. Everyone in this village hates the sight of me. She shook her head. I don't hate you. I just don't understand. He was quiet for a moment, then he said something strange. Sometimes, when people do wicked things to us, they're actually pushing us toward where we were supposed to be. Her brows furrowed. What do you mean? He almost answered, then he stopped himself. In 7 days, he said instead, everything would be clear. I just need you to trust me. Even if the whole world laughs, just trust me a little. She looked into his eyes. There was a calm there she did not expect. I will try, she whispered. For the next days, the village treated their upcoming wedding like a comedy show. People pointed. Children laughed. Some villagers even made jokes. Will they beg for their wedding food? Will the bride wear a sack? This is the cheapest wedding in history. Meanwhile, Chief Nkize watched silently, a mysterious look on his face. He knew something the village didn't. On the 4th day before the wedding, something unusual happened. As Becky sat by the roadside with his calabash, a black SUV with tinted windows appeared on the dusty road. It was out of place in that village, like a lion in a chicken coop. The car stopped right in front of him. The door opened. A woman in a dark suit stepped out, followed by a man in glasses holding a tablet. The villagers stared from a distance, whispering, "Who are those? Government people? Police?" The woman looked at Becky. "We have been looking for you," she said. Amahale, who was returning from the river, froze and watched. Becky stood, his face unreadable. "You are late," he said simply. She nodded with respect. "Sir, we came as soon as we received confirmation of your message." The villagers' jaws almost hit the ground. "Sir? Who was this beggar, being called sir by the people in suits?" The woman continued, lowering her voice, but the village was quiet enough to hear. "Are you sure you want to go through with this test?" Becky glanced at Amhale in the distance. "More than ever," he said, "and now I am certain I chose the right village. The bird is waiting for your signal. We can prepare the jet at any time. We just need your order." "A jet? Did I say jet?" Becky raised one hand. "There will be no jet," he said calmly, "until the 7th day. After the wedding, 7 days after to be exact. Let everything follow the plan." The woman nodded. "As you wish." The SUV drove away, leaving a cloud of dust and a field of confusion behind. Villagers turned to one another. Did we hear right? Was that a joke? What kind of bird? Jet, sir? But people are good at explaining away what they don't understand. One man shrugged. "Maybe he's just a mad beggar and those were actors from some prank. Ignore it." They went back to their gossip. But Alice's mind did not ignore it. That night, as they sat again outside her uncle's compound, she asked, "Becky, who are you really?" He smiled slightly. "Right now, to this village, I am just a beggar, and I need it to stay that way." "Why?" He looked directly into her eyes. "Because I needed to see something. Who would help me when I had nothing? Who would kick me when I was already on the ground? Who would treat me like dirt because I looked like dirt?" Her heart thudded. "You mean you are not really?" "I am poor in their eyes," he said. "And that is enough for now. Just keep trusting me." On the 7th day, the village woke up buzzing with excitement. The wedding day had come. Not because they were happy for the couple, but because they wanted to laugh. Women wore their best wrappers. Men polished their shoes. Children ran around shouting, "Let's go see the orphan marry the beggar." In Jabulani's compound, Aunt Thandi dressed Ali in the simplest dress she owned. No jewelry from the family, no new shoes, nothing. "We are lucky we are even giving you soap to wash," Thandi muttered. "If not for us, you would be eating sand." Amhale said nothing. She had learned that arguing with wicked people is like shouting at the wind. Becky, on the other hand, wore the same worn clothes he always wore. The same sandals, the same old shirts. Some of the village elders whispered, "At least he should have borrowed something better. This is a disgrace." Chief Nkize's compound was decorated with palm leaves and bright clothes. A goat had been slaughtered. Pots of food simmered over fires. Even in humiliation, the chief would never let it be said that he hosted a poor event. The bride and groom were brought forward. The elder in charge of the ceremony cleared his throat. Today, he said, we join this man and this woman in marriage. Whether we understand it or not, destiny has spoken. Somebody snorted in the crowd. Destiny or disaster? He whispered loudly. People snickered. Amale's hands were shaking. Becky noticed. He leaned toward her and whispered, look at me. She looked up slowly. From today, he said very softly but firmly, no one will ever treat you like trash again. I promise you that. Something in his voice felt like a door opening in the dark. The vows were said. The blessing was given. The crowd clapped lazily, more entertained than impressed. Husband, kiss your wife. One drunken man shouted. Others burst into laughter. Becky didn't answer. He simply took Amale's hand and squeezed it gently. That was enough. After the ceremony, food was served. Villagers ate well, but no one gave the couple gifts. Not a single cooking pot. Not a single blanket. Nothing. What is the point? One woman said. It's like pouring water into a basket. That night, Amale and Becky were given a small mud hut on the edge of the village. Yo guys, would you like to know what happened to Becky and Amale in that small hut? Most importantly, you want to know how Becky shocked everyone in the entire village? Then you don't want to miss this part. Hit that like button and comment part 2 in the comment section. See ya!